Okay, we're going to check number 5. Haley, will you tell me what it says? Okay. The assignment, you guys, all it asks you to do is find the discriminant, right? Okay. And so what we need to do is identify A, B, and C. Okay, A is what number? Okay, it's negative 28, which is the coefficient of the quadratic term. B is what? 65. It is the coefficient of the x term. And C is what? Negative 28, which is the constant term in this quadratic. And so we defined, to find the discriminant, we're just looking for the part of the quadratic formula that is b squared minus 4ac. And so we're gonna plug in these numbers right here, 65 squared minus 4 times a, which is negative 28, times c, which is negative 28. On this one right here, the numbers are so large, I would just plug it right into your calculator, type it in just like that. What did you guys come up with? 1,000 and what? 89? Are we all in agreement on that one? Okay, that's all we were doing on that assignment. Now, this assignment's not going to be due today because we're going to add to it. Okay? I'm not going to give you the evens. We're going to use the quadratic formula to finish solving this. You've already done part of it. Okay? And that's what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to do this. How many of you have this formula memorized now? Okay. Anybody want to grace us with a song? No. We've had enough singing of it. Let's we all sing together. Do you guys all want to sing together? Okay. Here's the quadratic formula. Remember, it works on a quadratic equation that's set equal to 0 in this form right here. And we have to know what A, B, and C are. Okay? And so we are going to take one of the problems that we've done. Should we take, give me a number that you guys would like to do. Which one would you like to? 7. Number 7? Okay. So we're going to start with number 7 right here. And we are going to use the quadratic formula to find out what x is equal to. Okay, now I know a lot of you guys are working on something else. I'd watch right here, right now, so you know what's going on. Okay, put the pastures away and stop whatever you're doing on the, if you're not done with the other assignment, stop and watch this part right here, okay? Number 7, we're going to learn how to use the quadratic formula. And in this case, we're looking for the opposite of b. Okay, and number 7, first of all, someone give me the equation. What is the equation for number 7? Negative 32x squared minus 8x plus 24 equals 0. Okay. And by the way, the ones that say y equals and then the quadratic formula, just change the y to a 0 because we're looking for the zeros. And so we replace y with a 0. Okay. So right here, we're going to go x equals the opposite of b. Well, what is b? It's a negative 8. What's the opposite of negative 8, everybody? Positive 8. You always take the opposite of b. Now, this one, we've already figured out b squared minus 4ac. What did you guys all get for b squared minus 4ac on this? And everybody look on number 7. What was your discriminant? 3136. Is that right? Okay. Now, all over what? 2 times what? Negative 32. Okay. So we've already got part of this done because we've solved for the discriminant already. Now, here's the deal. We have to find, oh, by the way, since the discriminant is positive, what kind of solutions am I going to? I'm going to get two real solutions. Does everybody understand that? This is going to cross the x-axis twice. Now, guys, is that a perfect square? Type in your calculator the square root of 3136. See if it's a perfect square. What is it? 56. So here we go. X equals 8 plus or minus 56. Now, if I would have taken the square root of that number and got a decimal, would have I used the decimal? No, not right now, because we're going to leave this in terms of the square root. And 2 times negative 32 would be what? Negative 64. How many solutions do you see here? It's a negative 64, isn't it? 2 times negative 32, right? Okay, now, we have two solutions here, don't we? We have 8 plus 56 divided by negative 64. By the way, what is 8 plus 56, you guys? 64. And 64 divided by negative 64 is negative 1. There's one of our solutions. Okay, let's get the other solution. The other solution is 8 minus 56. What is 8 minus 56? Negative 48. So I have negative 48 over negative 64. Well, what's a negative divided by a negative? A positive. And what's a number that goes into both 48 and 64? 4 does, yeah. How about, what's the biggest number that goes into both of them? 8. How many 8 times will 8 go into 48, guys? 6 times. And how many times will 8 go into 64? 8 times. So what's another number that goes into these? 2. How many times will 2 go into it? So that is x equals 3/4. So our two answers are x equals negative 1 and x equals 3/4. If you were to graph this, what does this information, how's this information going to show up on the graph? Okay, it's the x-intercepts, right? Where it crosses the x-axis. Okay, that is what we're doing. Okay, now, I need to show you in case the problem is not, your discriminant is not a perfect square. So I'm going to show you one like that right now. I'm going to make one up. Let's go, this one right here. 3x squared minus, let's go 14x plus, let's go 8 equals 0. Let's try that one out. Let's see what happens. Okay? All right, you guys. Let's first of all find the discriminant. Everybody find the discriminant. Let's label A, B, and C. What is A? What's A? What's B? And what is C? Okay? Let's do B squared minus 4AC. So what are we going to put in for B? Negative 14 squared minus 4 times A is 3 and C is 8. Just type that in your calculator. Make sure you put parentheses around the negative 14. Or you can put it in as positive 14 because once you square it, it's going to be positive anyway, right? What do you guys get? What? 196? 457? 100?
Yeah.
What is 14 times 14, you guys? What, 196? So this is 196. 3 times 4 is 12. 8 times 12 is 96, isn't it? Okay, so our discriminant is 100. That's not good. That's a perfect square. I was trying to get one that wasn't a perfect square. Well, let's just finish this one since we're on it. Okay? So here we go. X equals negative b. What would negative b be? 14 plus or minus the square root of 100, all divided by 2 times 3, right? What is the square root of 100? 10. So I get x equals 14 plus or minus 10 over 6. What's 14 plus 10? 24 divided by 6 is 4, so one of my answers is 4. And what's 14 minus 10? It's 4, so 4/6 is 2/3. Jeez. How likely is it that I just make one up and I get a perfect square? It's not very likely. Okay, that's not very likely. Let's do one more. Okay, let's go 3x squared plus, let's go 7x minus 5 equals 0. There's no way that that one could be. No way. Okay, all right. So here we go. What's A, what's B, and what's C? A is what? 3. B is what? And C is what? Okay. Let's figure out the discriminant, see what kind of solutions we're going to get. B squared, that would be 49. 4 times 3 is 12, times a negative 5 would be a negative 60. 49 minus a negative 60 is 109. Okay, so we have our discriminant. X equals negative b. What's negative b going to be? Negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 109 all over 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, are we done? Maybe. Are there any numbers that we can break 109 down into and see if there's pairs? 3 doesn't go into 109. You know how you can tell if 3 goes into a number, you guys?
Yes.
Oh.
All the numbers add up to a factor of 3.
Yeah, 1 plus 0 plus 9 is what? Does 3 go into 10? Then it won't go into 109. How many of you knew that already? How many of you didn't know that? Okay, it's a good trick. Okay? Yeah, because, okay, 2 doesn't go into that because it's not even. 3 doesn't. 5 won't go into it. 6 won't go into it. 7. Will 7 go into it? 7 won't go into it. 12 will go into it how many times? Thank you. Okay. Okay, so this is probably a prime number, isn't it? So guess what? That's our answer.
I like prime numbers.
Okay. What if it's 0? What if that was a 0? Let's make one up, you guys. What if you had an equation that came out to be this? Let's say you had a problem that came out to be like that. 5 plus or minus the square root of 0 over 8. Well, what is the square root of 0? Now, what is 5 plus 0? Divided by 8 is?
So it only has one.
And what's 5 minus 0? Divided by 8 is? How many solutions are we going to have on this one, you guys?
That's why it's x equals 0.
You guys, everybody get out your foldable. What does it say? What does it say when when discriminant is 0? How many solutions are you going to get? Okay. Does that make sense? When your discriminant is 0, you're going to have one answer. Why? Because plus 0 and minus 0 are the same thing, right? Okay. There's no such thing as a negative 0 or a positive 0. It's just 0. In Haley's world, that could be different. Okay. Let me show you guys this one. How about this one? Let's go. Let's say we had something like that. Okay? You guys all ready? What? Let's say you end up with a discriminant of 24. Am I done? No. What could I do? I can simplify the 24. 24 simplifies, right? What are two numbers I can multiply together and get 24? 6 times 4. What does 6 break down to? What does 4 break down to? Do I have any pairs there? I have a pair of 2's. That's the only pair, right? I have a loner 2 and a loner 3. Therefore, going back to this is going to be 2 square root of what? 6, because I take the loners, 2 and 3, times them back together, put them inside the square root, a pair. Well, 2 times 2 is 4, and the square root of 4 is 2, so you just take one of them, put them out in front. 2 square root 6. So I'm going to get 2 square root of 6 all over the 6. Now, am I done yet? Yeah, I can factor a 2 out of the top, cancel it with, because 6 breaks down to 2 times 3, right? So I could factor a 2 out of the top, which would leave this with 6 plus or minus the square root of 6, all over 2 times 3, because 6 is equal to 2 times 3. And 2's cancel out, and so what's my answer? There's my answer right there. Okay? Okay.
But if you have 2 sets of 3 pairs, so like you have a 2 times 2 here, you factor it. You have 2 times 2 and another 2 times 2.
That means it's a perfect square. Or you're just saying,
What would you put on the outside?
let's say we had 48. That's 2 times 24, right? And that's 2 times 12. And that's 4 times 3, and that's 2 times 2, right? I have a pair of 2's there, a pair of 2's there, and the 3 right there. Is that what you're talking about? Okay, if I have 2 pairs of 2, I take 1 out of that pair, 1 out of that pair, and I put the loner back inside, and what's 2 times 2? And so you get 4 squared 3. The reason is, if you think about 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16, and 16 is a perfect square. The square root of it is 4. Does that make sense? Okay, good question. All right. Haley, what? Yeah, we're actually going to do this on a separate piece of paper. Okay? Okay? Yep. So I took one of these pair, one of these pair, and I got 2 times 2 right there. All right. Are we kind of get the idea of what you need to do? All right. Hey, guys, this is what we're going to do for the assignment. Okay? I want you to get out a separate piece of paper. You are going to do the odds, which you've already found the discriminant of, so you're halfway done with the problems, right? And you are going to solve them using the quadratic formula. You're halfway, most of them are going to be pretty quick because they're perfect squares. Most of them are perfect squares, just so you know. Okay, and you're going to go through and solve them. I would suggest that after you do each one, you check with your shoulder partner and make sure you didn't make a mistake. If you have questions, ask me. On a separate piece of paper.